Good evening, good evening, good evening. Thank you for joining Sister Talk Radio, No Weapon Formed Against Us. Tonight we are going to be talking to business owners, our people that are in business, and our minority sector, okay? Because a lot of times we go and
Video froze.
It's frozen on my end too.
okay.
Can you hear me, Dee Dee? I'm gonna send her a.
Yeah.
I hear you all fine. I don't know what's going
Okay, now you're back. Now you're back.
I hear you now.
the video. Why is it freezing? I don't know why. But anyway, a lot of times it's we out here and we're looking for businesses and different places, and we like to be able to take care of and actually have our own people to be doing our work. And sometimes we say, well, I'm all about dealing with the minorities and I want to help our minorities, but then a lot of times we still turn around and give our money and we go ahead and go to other people, which is, it's not a problem with it. I'm not talking against it, but what I am saying is we have young Black people on here that have businesses, and I'm going to actually want them to promote their businesses so they can have a chance to get started in their businesses. And those that have been doing it a while, they want more business. So let's get out there and help these people. So I'm right now, I have on here, I have Franco Whitehurst. Franco hails from San Antonio, Texas right now. But that's not where he's actually from. He'll get me if I tell people that he's from San Antonio, but he lives in San Antonio right now. And he owns the business of Seasonal Services TNT. And it is a landscaping business. And so I'm going to introduce each person. So Franco, you can wave your hand. You got your name up there already. And then we have Coach Leah. Coach Leah, she is a she works with PTSD husbands and their wives and tries to promote helping the family. Basically, how to support women who are dealing with husbands with PTSD problems and other problems. I'm sure she's well versed in a lot of. She is a life coach, and she is a book author. All right. And so she guides people to inner peace, self-love, and personal strength. And she hails out of Mississippi, right? Gulfport,
Mm-hmm. Gulfport, Mississippi. Yes.
Mississippi in the house. And then we have up to our right corner, maybe your left corner, Mr. Paul Ireland. Paul Ireland hails also from San Antonio. And that's my brother, which I'm very proud of him. He is a real estate personnel. He just recently got himself together. Well, I mean, he's been together. He's just retired out of the military. He just retired after a 31 year lifelong sentence in the military. So no, it's been really good. And Paul is with us today. He's a new realtor, and he's going to talk about all the realtor type of stuff and what all he can bring to the table and show you all if you need new homes and things like that. So right now I'm going to open it up to Franco. Franco, I'd like you to talk about your business and what you do and how they can get in contact with you. I have the information up here that I'm putting up here for people to be able to see it. Okay. But you go ahead and talk.
Okay. Well, thank you for the opportunity, and thank you everyone that's here this evening. Like you said, I do landscaping, and I think that, I don't really say you have to advertise, and I would say that you don't have to give your money to people just because they're Black. But I would say in every experience we've all had being Black is there sometimes we don't get opportunities, and sometimes we're not given an opportunity, or we sometimes don't get a job because of experience, whether it's in the corporate America or the NFL, So I would say that a landscaper or any business, I think that it would help our community if we give those opportunities to Black people. I mean, that you don't have to, in the landscaping, you don't have to give them or give me your money just give me the opportunity to be in front of you to say, hey, I can do the job, or give me a chance to do the job. And then also too, the feedback is important. If I go do something and it's not good, or I make a quote or a bid that's not good or low or high, I think that's opportunity for a person of color who knows, the things we go through. And sometimes we don't have those experiences or those people to give us um, the answers to questions we don't know to ask, or we're doing it by ourselves with little knowledge we have. So I think as a community and a culture, if we were able to help somebody and pass on information, I think that's a good thing. I think if we, as Black people, help our fellow Black people, I always tell people, if you give a person an opportunity, maybe $1 to do work for you, it'll prevent them from coming hitting you in the head and taking it from you.
All right now. All right.
so
I
so I
mean,
say just give the opportunity, for myself and others, give us opportunity to put our best foot forward. And if we don't do so well, give us some critique, some positive criticism, so that we can do better next time.
right.
So thank you for the opportunity, Marla, to speak on that. And that's all I got. Landscape is nothing much to it. It's just
Well,
cutting grass and picking up weeds.
well, no, that's you did a whole lot. I mean, I've seen Franco's work myself, and I've seen. I mean, he knows how to concrete, brick. He knows how to do pave. What you call it? Driveways, all kind of stuff. We're not going to sell him short. He does a very good job in what he does. He knows how to plant trees. And if you're here in San Antonio, to keep a tree alive can be very, you know what I'm saying? So he knows how to do a lot of things. And I really don't want him to sell himself short. If you know how to do it, if you want something done, call him. Call him. Give him an opportunity to go out there, bid on it, and actually be able to say, you know what? This and this is what I want done. Maybe maybe he doesn't. Maybe he is higher. Maybe he's a little lower. But my question too is, you'll pay for other people to do work for you. So give him a chance. Give him a chance and see. And if it's something y'all can negotiate on prices, I'm sure he's willing to negotiate some. So, give him an opportunity. That's my biggest thing with people. Give people an opportunity to prove themselves at what God has given them, the gift that God has given them.
And
So
like you said, Marla, I think it's just important that we give each other the opportunity, because sometimes in society we don't get it, outside our culture. So it's important that I think we help each other. Like, as a realtor, working in PTSD, I know, and this is my experience as a person of color, sometimes you want a person of color to be able to relate. That's not bias. That's not that's just because I could tell you about my childhood and my mom spanking me and getting the extension cord. Somebody may not have that same experience, may think that's way in left field, and
right,
somebody has a shared experience. No, they meant that out of love. That wasn't
right,
abuse.
right,
That was
right,
out of love. I don't recommend it. Don't say we continue to do it, but that wasn't because they mad at me. They was trying to get me to do the right thing. So
right.
those shared experience. So I think there's a lot of benefit in doing that, because we can understand and relate. And then I also think because we are in a society that we sometimes don't get the opportunity and experience, and that sometimes is held against us. So I think it'd be fair in our culture to give the opportunity to somebody who looks like us. Say, hey, not saying give them your money. I'm just saying, hey, let me, what do you got? And if they're not good, give them feedback. Because also I will say this, and this is just the last thing I'll say, is that I believe fundamentally that we should try to work for ourselves and try to have a business for various a myriad of reasons. But also there's opportunity for us to build generational wealth and increase our situation. Um, Family time, working for yourself. If you work very hard for somebody and they give you a paycheck, you take that same energy and work for yourself, you may be able to do it and manage it where you can spend time with your family. Because I think
That's
that's one thing that I learned, that it sucks to have to go to a boss to, hey, can I get off to go take care of my family member or help my child or go see their recital? So I think that as I got older, those moments are precious, or are important to me. So I think being your own boss helps you not even have to worry about none of that.
Amen. All right. That's good. That's good word advice of being able to be a father. And a lot of times fathers are out working, and mothers are too, obviously both of them. But I say that, and you said that very eloquently, because a lot of times we spend money, we spend our time on the jobs, and we do have to go to somebody and say, can I take off to take Johnny to the doctor or whatever? And it's like, okay, if you're your own boss, you like, okay, I'm taking Johnny to the doctor. I need y'all to continue to do, you know what I'm saying? Get this job done or whatever. So I do understand the importance of that. A lot of children didn't grow up with that. You know, our children a lot of times didn't grow up with that. And so it's very important that we're able to give the kids, as we do better, we're able to give them better. So thank you for that, Franco. Very good. Um, I'm going to let Mrs. Huggins, I'm going to let her go ahead and talk now. And she is Coach Leah. Okay, and Coach Leah out of Mississippi, Mississippi. She is a marriage. She talks about marriage, motherhood, and PTSD. I want you to go ahead and you talk about it, and I'll put your information up here.
All right. Hello, everybody. Thank you so much. I'm enjoying the show so far. Thank you so much for having me on. I appreciate this. It's really great to highlight Black businesses and support each other. I love that. So, as you said, yes, I do deal with marriage, motherhood, and PTSD. Basically, I am a certified life coach. My husband and I were both active duty. We were in the Navy. He did his full 20-year run. I got out and said, "Hey, I think being a mom and wife will work better for me." So I got out. My husband went to war twice, and he came back from war, and things had changed. And another point to that was that it wasn't just war itself. You know, life itself can give you, you face trauma in life, and that added on to what he saw, going to war twice. He later was diagnosed with PTSD, depression, and anxiety, and everything that comes with it. And we've been married. We hit 21 years last year. We hit 21 years, so we're going on 22 years of marriage, and it has been extreme highs and extreme lows. And so we kind of, once I got myself together, then I was able to go on and we worked on ourselves. Because once I got everything aligned with the word of the Lord, I got everything aligned with God. And I was able to start working on myself. And in doing that, I started working on my relationship with my husband. He did the work on his side, through his own personal journey,
Mm-hmm.
and it came together. It worked out well. So from that, I started seeing that there were a lot of people in our community as military by itself, but a lot of people in that community, a lot of women that dealt with the same thing,
Mm-hmm.
um, and their husbands. If all the men that my husband run with, it's the same thing with them. They have similar issues that are going on. They have the same story essentially.
Right.
So what I started doing is just kind of it started out, just as a thought, something that I could do. And eventually the Lord gave me my path and told me what my assignment was.
Mm-hmm.
And I hunkered down and I dug in. And now I have the book, I have the coaching lessons that I do. I do coaching. I also wrote a book, the PTSD Wives Handbook, her guide to inner peace, self love, and personal strength.
Mm-hmm.
And then I started a podcast weekly, and that's the Marriage, Motherhood, and PTSD. I believe that it's not just a military
Right.
issue either.
Right.
That's a big point to make, is that PTSD, dealing with trauma, is not just dealing with the military. Like I said, life itself can can throw you some curveballs, and
Mm-hmm.
being the support, being the spouse, the wife, that is supporting that person, it's not an easy road.
Right.
But I found my direction in the Word. I
Mm-hmm.
found that direction, and so I used that, what I learned, the tools and tips I've learned those, and I teach people based on those biblical principles.
All right.
So
All
that's
right.
it.
And that's not it either.
Oh.
That's not it either.
Yes.
You have a wealth of knowledge to give people, you know. I mean, and then
Yeah.
like you said, with the one thing we all have in common on here is we've all Franco's retired Marine Corps, and
Okay.
we got Army. Look, we got Army, Navy. Well, you said Navy. You're Navy, right, Leah? You said
Yes, I'm
Navy.
Navy.
So we got
Yes.
Army, Navy, and Marine Corps on here today, right now. So
Uh-huh.
and all y'all have done extensive times in the military, and so
Yes.
PTSD, no matter what service you're in, you do suffer from that a lot of times. And they don't
Mhm.
even realize in the military, PTSD can even just be being away from your family. You know,
Yeah.
that can be a big trauma to people,
Yeah.
especially when you come up and there's been a lot of tugging as a child. You know, you've been placed
Mhm.
here or placed there, or maybe you know you had a loss of a sibling, or you love your sibling, and all of a sudden they're not
Right.
there anymore. Those are traumas childhood, but then you bring those off into the military, and there's other kind of traumas, and a lot of times
That's
we
right.
don't talk about those things. And this
Yes.
isn't a session for that, but at the same time, you know, it's real. It's really
That's
real,
right.
and which goes into sometimes why it's easier for military to decide to go into business for themselves a lot of times because of the traumas that they've dealt with in the
Mhm.
military.
That's
In
it.
the
That's
military,
it.
you know, and we
Yeah.
don't realize a lot of times we don't realize the trauma, and then
Yeah.
we get out there on our own job and able. Well, I actually work pretty good by myself. You
Right.
know what I'm
And I see that. I see that with my husband, definitely. Some of the things that he's been through, and not just, like I say, not just from going to war, but being a black man in the military.
saying? Yeah,
He can write a
in
book.
itself, in itself.
He can write a book,
Yeah.
and so definitely, yeah, it's good to have an outlet. And that's what I wanted to do, with especially the podcast that I'm doing. I
Uh-huh.
really wanted to have a place for, um, where we can have real conversations about the things that affect us.
Yeah.
Just as someone that's supporting, a spouse that's going through that has experienced and survived trauma,
Right.
that may be going through PTSD. It's great to have that outlet just to talk about it, because just talking about it is therapeutic in itself.
Now, with your business, and this is just for because I do have people in Mississippi that watch as well. I
Hmm.
thank God. I mean, you know what I've learned. I had a person from Sweden get in touch with me the other day, and I was
Wow.
like, "How do you know about me in Sweden?" He goes, "I've seen your podcast. I've seen yours," and I was like, "Wow, that's kind of cool." You know,
Wow.
because I was like, "Oh, sometimes you look at the numbers, you're like, it ain't that many people." But it
Yeah,
really gets around after a while, and you don't
that's
really realize
right.
who you're helping and or whatever. So don't take.
Right.
I know. I think me and you were on there, and you were talking the last time we talked, and you said despite. I mean, do not despise small things, and even
Small
though
beginning.
we're small
Right.
things, and it's not, and that's what happens a lot of times. Everybody looks at your business and says, "Well, dog, y'all not really that. You know, you're not that big or not or whatever. You know."
Right.
But you don't despise that because you know God's got you where He's got you for a purpose. And when
That's
you
it.
figure out what it is and how He can expand it, and sometimes you don't even want it that big. Sometimes it is
Yeah.
easier just work and do what you do. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
right.
So
That's
it
right.
doesn't matter about how big or small things are, long as He still allows you to be able to care for yourself and care for the people that you love, and you're doing what God called you to do, and that's
That's
the
it.
important thing. So thank you very
Yes.
much. Thank you so much for being on here. The next
Thank
person we
you.
have, and we're going to still talk. I'm not going We're going to talk. I
Yes,
want
ma'am.
to Yeah, I just want to give each person a chance to first talk. The next person is going to be Mr. Paul Ireland, the realtor that works that is with Phyllis Browning, and he's going to go ahead and introduce himself and go ahead with his what he has to say.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for that introduction, Dee Dee. Um,
Marla.
Excuse me, Marla. Um, just
Childhood nicknames is not good on TV. No, just
yeah, just so just a kind of caveat on what Coach Lee said. Um, Being from the Navy and then Franco, the Marine, so um, that only leaves two services. So I'll pull the Army, um, and Dee Dee lived close to an air base, so I
I
didn't.
got an Air Force person coming on in a little bit. She's getting
Okay.
ready.
Okay, so we've got the Department of Defense covered here,
Yes.
um, and don't worry, I'm joint qualified, so I've worked with all branches of service. Um, just to kind of lead in on what Franco hit on as far as the minority owned and disadvantaged businesses. Um, Truly appreciate this opportunity, Marla, so we can get our businesses out there to people
Mhm.
and taking advantage of the technology that's available for us today. As you've heard, and you will hear my story as well. But everybody has a unique story to share and bring into the conversation and highlight what they can bring, what they can bring to the table.
Mhm.
So, just a little bit about myself. Just finishing up a 30-year career in the U.S. Army, and I'm retiring as a lieutenant colonel. So I started out as a private and worked my way up through. I spent the last half of my career as a bilingual business advisor for the Department of Defense and U.S. embassies. So I was able to travel around the entire Hemisphere negotiating deals on behalf of the Department of Defense. So that enabled me to um, either quickly solve problems, establish rapport,
Mhm.
or just navigate high stakes scenarios where I developed my negotiating and diplomacy skills by working on those embassy country teams in various countries. So I'm trying to explain a little bit of how tie this my history into
What?
why someone should pick me as a real estate agent and what I can do to help them secure their transaction. So I hold a master's degree in international relations from Florida International University. I have a project management professional certification from the Project Management Institute, and I'm currently completing my Texas Accredited Commercial Specialist certification, uh, which I should be finishing up by May.
I got a
So,
smart brother.
huh?
I said I got a smart brother. I was just
I don't know about smart, but um, what everyone else in here can attest to is
working hard.
the exactly being in the military, um, discipline, persistence, perseverance,
Hmm.
attention to detail. Those are the skills that um, we bring to you as former military people. So I'll switch back to real estate. So Uh, if you're looking for a house to buy or sell, condominium, it could be residential or commercial. I focus more on commercial, um, but I also do residential.
Hmm.
So you may be far out of your element as far as when it comes to reviewing and understanding the multiple documents that are involved in a real estate deal. So you should have a thorough understanding of what you're getting into, regardless of whether you're buying or selling. So that's where I could come in and help you uh, as far as time, uh, reviewing those documents, and ensuring that it's done completely in your best interest because I am obligated by law, it's my fiduciary duty to represent your interest. Um, I understand the San Antonio, Texas area, greater San Antonio area. I've been here for 3 years and I visited off and on throughout my career. I've already explained those skills that I bring from my previous job, and I've mentioned the training and the certificates and designations that I have.
Hmm.
In addition to that, if we would get into some sort of transaction that's above my comprehension level or experience level, I'm backed by a team of lawyers and experienced real estate team, both residential and commercial.
Okay.
So that's what I'm offering today. A little bit about why someone should pick me, what we've done in the past,
Hmm.
and thank you for giving me this time, Didi. If there's any questions, I'll be happy to answer.
Amen. Okay, so um, Paul, I will ask you. So you're talking about the real estate business and being military. When okay, so all of y'all, we're all military. We're everybody's military. So I guess my question would probably be all of y'all. Is there anything that you all give like discounted towards the military service people or anything like that? I mean, I know housing, maybe you can't do all that. I'm not sure about, well, they, it runs a little differently, but do you all do that in your businesses? Um,
Well, I'll say as a consumer,
mm-hmm.
I will say this for purchasing a home. I think finding a veteran is beneficiary to you because a lot of real estate agents don't have a lot of experience with the VA home loan process, and so that is
Okay.
I would just say that I lean toward a person that has to have 20 years experience, or a veteran because they understand the process, meaning that you get somebody, not saying they're not good, maybe been there 7 years, but if they don't understand the VA stuff, the
Mhm.
letter, all that stuff, the benefits, and, because we're going in there with our VA home loan trying not to pay nothing. You know what I'm saying? So we don't
Right,
want to go in there the first time, yo, you got to have 20,000, 8,000. Like, what am I need somebody to understand and walk me
right.
through it, calm me down, so that I would just say that for Paul, that, that is a great niche, that being a veteran helps people. Being a veteran, that that's something definitely to highlight because of your skill set and also just knowing the VA process and how to get our paperwork, where we find it. If we lost it, don't know where this is, you'll know that, and that'll help ease that process because buying a home is tedious and long and stressful. So having somebody who understands that unique situation you're in is
Mhm.
is a is a plus. I just wanted to say that from a consumer standpoint.
That's good. That's good. That's good.
Thank you,
Um,
Franco.
what about you, Coach Leah?
Mhm. As far as dealing with the military, that's a lot of what I get right now is having a
Mhm.
lot of military people come simply because of the nature of what I do.
Okay.
Right now, there's no, for myself, I'm not, um, everything I do is pretty much a flat rate right now. And of course, I love my veterans. I love my military. When I provide a service, um, when I provide a special type of service, I will plan to offer a military discount. At this point, what I'm offering right now, um, I'm not really, I'm not really charging anything.
Mhm.
So yeah, it's all flat rate right now. But yeah, once I get into specialized coaching, I'm not taking on any clients right now. But if I do, yeah, definitely,
Okay.
because I see the benefits of military, the
Right,
military
because I was
discount.
going to ask
Yeah.
law, legally
Mhm,
wise, I don't know that part of it, but I was wondering,
mhm,
like, like if veterans were sent to you,
mhm,
sent. Now that probably wouldn't be with the landscaping part, but with sent to you, and obviously with home buying too. But when they're sent to you as like for mental things like that, um,
mhm.
do you see yourself being locked in with like TRICARE and things like that for that type of services? Do you think?
I have looked into that. I actually have looked into that. Now, let me say I am not a therapist. I am not a
Okay,
doctor. Coaching is different than actually, being a doctor or a therapist or a
right.
counselor or anything like that. Coaching deals more with um, what methods we're going to use, coming up with a system that works for you to get to whatever goal it is that you have.
Okay,
So
okay,
we're going to put the systems in place, and, like I say, I use, the tools and the principles, that I get from the Bible to come up with a strategy for
right,
whatever it is. So we're more about implementing, the strategy in order to get to whatever goal it is you have.
right. So they
Now,
don't
there are some,
necessarily have to go further into the mental side. You're trying to
right,
deal
we
with it
don't deal
now
with that.
so that some of that other stuff can be corrected because it kills
Right.
what you deal with that keeps them from having to go into the deeper stuff.
Well, and
Hey,
I wouldn't, well, I put, there's a limit on the amount of help that I'm able to
okay,
get. You know what I'm
right,
saying? So
right,
yeah, like I said, as a coaches mainly deal with the strategies, putting strategies in
right.
place to get to whatever goal they want. As far
Mhm.
as if something were to come up where they, I could see, okay, this is not a strategy issue. This is dealing with your past and, dealing with hurt and pain. That we're not trained to do that
Right,
as a coach. And that can open up, you can go in there thinking you're trying to help and you open up something that
right,
you
right,
have
right, right.
no
No
idea
idea.
how to close up,
Right,
how to fix. And so you can cause more damage that way. So
gotcha.
yes, we are taught, and like I say, I'm certified. So there's, There's a difference. So when you're certified, they do teach you that you are not a therapist. You are
Right.
there strictly to help implement whatever goals it is that they and
And I'm
come up
glad
with.
you brought that up because a lot of
Mm-hmm.
people don't necessarily know the difference. They're figuring,
Mm-mm.
coaching, okay, so yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it makes a difference to know the difference in that.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Um, Franco, when you are, I guess, like being called to do a business or whatever like that, what is your, when you get, what is your main goal? I know it's to complete a project and to do a satisfactory or to the
Mhm.
customer satisfaction and everything, but when you are dealing with just like personalities on when you're dealing with people, and I don't know if you're dealing with
Mhm.
people that have different types of personalities and stuff, because sometimes people have those, they expect you to be a certain way, they expect you to look a certain way, you know what I'm saying, all that.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
With the personalities of issues, how do you deal with those kind of things on just being a business owner,
Yeah, this a real talk show, or is it late at night? Can I be honest and frank and candid, or you want
nope,
to
I want you the way you are. Nope,
water it
nope,
down?
I don't want it watered down
Well,
at all.
I would say this, that in my experience, this isn't uh, generally speaking, everybody. I'm just talking from my experience.
Hmm.
I've learned that there is a little bit of apprehension to be a black landscaper, and that's
Hmm.
not because landscapers aren't black landscapers, but I'm in a predominantly area that has more Hispanics doing it and whites. So that is sometimes a drawback when people will see me when I have workers that are Hispanic or white, they'll think they're the boss. You know what I'm saying? Things
Yeah,
like that.
yeah,
Um, and I don't think that's in malice. I'm not saying that's a malice. I think people just have a bias of saying it. And I will say that in my own ignorance, that when before I got into the business, I never thought of landscaping as a lucrative business. I just thought of it as a business. I see people doing it. I just thought that's what they have to do to get by. Low skill manual labor. That's my ignorance, because I didn't do that. I was in the military, so I didn't have work experience and know what people
right.
do. So I learned that there's a lot of money to be made in landscaping. I do offer military discounts, and you do deal with people, and I think it's in sales. You learn that. For example, some men are do it themselves type individuals, and they're calling you because they had a back surgery or a back injury. So you have to know mentally. They're gonna tell you everything ever about the job. They're gonna know everything about the job. They
Hmm.
just they just having you here, so you got to accept that. And then
Right.
there's people who don't know anything about it, so you have to educate them and start them from the ABCs of lawn care, what to do. Sometimes people are new homeowners, first home, they don't know what to do. And
Hmm.
there's people that have a lot of money, so you do have to adjust. And I will say, being able to be flexible and adjust will allow you to close more deals and get those sales. Meaning that when you go there, you have to um, you know, adjust and see what kind of vibe they give you. But I also will say this, since this is late at night, I have changed and present different people in front of me. I did go to put a white person in Spanish. I started having to send other people to do some quotes if it's going to be over maybe say $2,000 or $3,000, because I found over time that I probably got maybe 1 out of 3 bids myself. And if I sent somebody who didn't look like me, I got at least a second call back for at least say 2 out of 3,
And
and
that's
I got more
unfortunate, but it's
opportunities.
real. It's unfortunate, but it's real. I can imagine that definitely is a real life issues that do happen.
Well, what happened was, and it's like I said, this is not indictment on people or San Antonio area. This is what I went through. When they seen me come out there and I was the owner, and they realized what I was charging, they started to like count. Man, I'm giving this money to you. The money I'm about to give is going to go into your pocket. So I realized that I had to adjust that to win, instead of being negative and saying, "Hey, people are this way," or being upset and want to march. I said I gotta adjust fire if that's what they think. I'm not gonna let that stop what I'm trying to build or what I'm trying to
Right.
obtain off, I'm not. I want to sell to everybody. I want to service everybody. So if they
Mhm.
don't have a problem, and they see the person out there and they see me do the work and the work is good and they pay me, so be it. If they think somebody else is the boss, so I put my ego aside, and being flexible, I think that is needed. And like I said, dealing with people, and especially if you're trying to get money from people, I will say that you have to respect people and know that their money means a lot to them. So I think if
Right.
you go into anything knowing that their money is important to them, they either work hard for it, save it, do a lot, so they're going to give it to you, treat it with respect, and understand that And if you just whatever you do from the heart reaches heart. And I'm a personal person, so I try to give people education and
Mhm.
and kind of let them know that I'm here to be a good service to you and build a person that you can ask me anything and I can do it for you. And I've learned that that's the angle for me. It's like not being a person that's normally out here doing yards.
Mhm.
That's been a benefit to me by being smart, like
Right,
getting down and showing people what's going on and be able to break it down to them and explain it has been able to carry me over. So long story short, be adjustable and flexible because people are different, and as you go through it, you gain more experience dealing with people, and you can kind of catalog that to know how to deal with people. And if you do that, you'll get more success by getting that feedback, analyzing that, and doing that. Then also too, if you get a situation, how you handle it in business, I think your personal life is different from business. In business, you want to be flexible. If you go around and somebody treats you bad, or you don't like the way they talk to you or get upset,
right.
you know what I'm saying, you won't never make no money. And I'll teach you the last business secret. If somebody makes you upset, make you feel uncomfortable, you just charge them more. You know what I'm saying? So that's what
There
that.
you go.
So if somebody makes me feel uncomfortable, they underestimate me, treat me a certain way, I charge them more. I just had more money. So if they end up picking me, I double win. So that's my secret.
That's smart. That's smart. I ain't mad at you. I ain't mad at you. Okay. Is there anything either any of y'all want to add to what you're saying? What you're talking about. Is there anything you specifically want to talk about that is like how do you support how like maybe family? Like I guess you said you're married, Leah. How does
Mhm.
your husband deal with with your with what you're doing, like is that a not I don't mean to get personal, but I'm saying, like is does the amount of money feel does he feel like it's fulfilling what you all need? Or you know what I'm saying? Is it there's those kind of issues in your family?
He is 100% supportive of
Good,
what
good.
what I'm doing, and um, I think I had to learn in the beginning how to tell my story without making him the villain. Because when you're dealing with PTSD,
Part. Yeah.
and you're dealing with these experiences that people have, it's very easy to make the person the villain. The real villain is the trauma and the PTSD. That's the villain.
Amen.
And so I think that was a lesson that I had to learn on how to do what I'm doing, like I said, without placing blame on him, or and there are times that I have to tell some really ugly stories. It's uncomfortable, and
Right.
I make sure that I finish those stories. I call it my disclaimer
Mm-hmm.
at the beginning of the story or at the end of the story, and I let them know, hey, I only tell these stories to be an example, to show an example of,
Right.
number one, I've been there. I understand what you're going through. And
Mm.
there is a way out of it. There is a way to deal with it. And, we're proof that you can work through it.
Amen.
Um, but he is 100% supportive. He was the first person to buy my book. So, yeah,
Yeah,
he
my
he
husband didn't even have to pay for his book. That's
yeah. He was not he was not worried about paying for it. He absolutely
right.
wanted to support, and
Amen.
I love him for it. Now, on the other end of that, I do have to be careful about the amount of time that I spend
Mhm.
in doing everything else but tending to my husband and tending to
Okay.
my family, because I especially me, I'll speak for me, but I do have a tendency to get laser vision, laser focus, and I
That's
I
me.
can be up all night, all day, because when you're doing something you love, it's real easy to get caught up in it. And I have to remember to take time out
That's
and to minister to him, just like I would, minister to my family, just like I minister to the people
And
out
that's so important. It's so
there.
important. I'm like you. I have to take time out every now and then
Yeah,
because I got called today to do a session on Zoom with
yeah,
someone, and I was like, oh, I got to hurry up because I need to make sure that I'm off here before my husband get home all the time
that's
because
right.
he don't want to hear. all their problems, and then
That's
like,
right.
okay, and we had that problem too. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yep.
I definitely understand that, and because I mean, I'm similar to what you do, um,
Mhm.
except I do have my license, but at the same time, I haven't went into full time with this because
Yeah.
God's called me into doing the homeless stuff, and then I'm
Yes.
doing this, and I'm selling rainbows. I mean, it's
Yes.
a lot of stuff, and you can be pulled, and sometimes my husband has to pull my shirt tail and be like, okay,
Mhm.
like you've been gone out of the house like 4 days now. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
right. And it's a reminder to
Mhm.
me as well to take care of myself,
Yeah, yeah,
So that
yeah,
time that I'm spending with him is actually helping me to relax and to
that's
to
right.
focus on something else besides work, work, work all the time.
Yeah.
It's
And I mean, when you start out a business, I don't care what it's in, you putting a lot of time into it because you're
that
building. And sometimes our spouses, or however you want, or the extra person, however you want to put
hmm
is
hmm
a lot of times they don't necessarily understand the hard work that does go into just building your name,
right.
building your brand, building things. And so
hmm
sometimes they won't understand. I got to be gone at 8 o'clock now because they're used to you being home, and now you have to
Exactly.
be out. It can take a toll on the family, but if it's building anything takes time. Building your
That's it.
military career took time.
He he has to remind me every now and then. He says, it is not a race, it's a marathon.
Yeah,
So you take your time and pace yourself. It
mm,
is a marathon. So I
it really
appreciate
is.
him for that.
It really is. Paul, do you have any final things? We're kind of gonna. Tasha says that she was gonna come, but she's a mom as well, and so she runs her own beauty shop, and so sometimes I know she's got home. Dorsey probably had some little work to do and stuff, so she's probably gonna try to pop on, but I we're gonna go ahead and probably close out. I usually do an hour show, but you know if y'all don't have anything else, I just wanted you all to be able to promote what you got going on. It's important and we'll do this again. I don't my main thing is to get y'all out there. I don't care what avenues we have to do, y'all, everybody got their little cards, and all that. They pass out their cards and all that's good. But sometimes you never know. Somebody could just be scrolling through Facebook or YouTube and say, oh, what they talking about? Oh, okay. And it doesn't matter where you're at, you know, because just like, I mean, especially like with real estate, you may call somebody and they over there in Germany trying to come back to the United States, and okay, so every chance that you can get on, somebody invite you on to further what you have going on, please take that opportunity because you never know who's going to hear it, and it's a blessing. It's a blessing in it all. So thank you all for joining me tonight. I appreciate it. I like that piano you got over there, Paul.
Uh, yes, you can have one too. I'll show you how to get one.
It must come with a house.
Yeah, but I appreciate each one of you all. Thank you so much. And I'm gonna flash y'all stuff up one more time. So if anybody has you gotta take it with your phone. That's the quickest way. Take it with your phone, a picture of it, so you can know who everybody is. But that is Franco Whitehurst. This is his business. Seasonal Services TNT is WHTPP, blah, 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 that part, www.seasonservicestnt.com. And he has his phone number, uh, 210-404-5139. Please give him a call. He is the man with the plan with seasonal services. He takes care of all your landscaping needs. And he also does concrete. You do fences. I think I seen you do some fence poles or something. I seen you doing one time.
Yeah, yeah, but so people don't call about concrete and all that. I'm slowing down on some of that stuff because
Oh, okay. Okay.
last year that kind of wore me out. Like, that's another thing we were talking earlier about business overwhelming. People want to be big.
Okay.
There's a drawback.
Okay.
More you have, more stress and more responsibility, more risk.
Okay.
FYI.
Well, he'll let you know what he can and can't do. I'm gonna leave it at that. That's Mr. Franco Whitehurst. Thank you very much, Franco, for joining us. We have over here Miss Leah Huggins, Coach Leah Huggins, and she's out of Franco's in San Antonio. Leah is in Gulfport, Mississippi. She is a life coach, and she deals with. She has a book out there. It's on Amazon and Barnes and what all the places is in.
Usually anywhere you can find it. Anywhere online.
We're
Just
online.
take your pick.
Okay.
Go to my website and get it though. That's the best place to get it. It is
Okay.
on Amazon. I believe it is on Barnes and Noble and Target, I believe.
Yeah. So those.
Online.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you go to the website, that's the best place.
Okay, so you can get her book www.iamcoachleah.com, and she's the author of the PTSD Wives Handbook, her guide to inner peace, self-love, and personal strength. She has a podcast, Marriage, Motherhood, and PTSD. What, where, and when can they see that podcast? Like, what time?
Yeah, it's on most streaming podcasting apps.
Uh-huh.
So like
Okay.
what is it? The I oh Lord.
iHeart,
I know it's on
iHeart.
Pandora.
Okay.
I believe it's on iHeart. What's the other one on Apple? Oh
Uh,
Lord.
Apple
Apple Podcast.
podcast. This is
That's
the same
terrible.
stuff I got. I have my
It's on there.
all that.
Wherever you get your podcast
And
from,
that's the
look
thing.
for it.
That's what's important. I run all this same stuff, not just on Facebook. We're on Facebook, YouTube, and
Mm-hmm.
we're also on all the podcasting streams. I got it on
Awesome.
10 different podcasting streams. So even
Yes.
if people aren't seeing your faces, they're able to hear you and get the
Yes.
information. So it's out there in iHeartRadio, Spotify, uh,
Spotify. Mm-hmm.
Deezer podcast. What else? There's
Mm-hmm.
the
There's a couple
Apple
of them.
Podcast,
Pandora,
Castbox. It's
Stitcher,
all of them.
hmm
Podchasers, y'all are all out there on all of that.
on
So
most streaming
on most,
platforms. I'll
on
just
most
say that.
platforms, everything that you can think of, you can look it up and it's on there.
Right,
So you can go ahead. It won't like y'all like ours. Like if we're doing the show tonight, you'll see it tomorrow. That's
right.
how it works. So anyway, that's one thing that you can get all that information there. You can go on Facebook on my Sister Talk Radio or Monumental Moments or my Facebook Marla Facey, and each one of you all have your own podcast. I mean your own information down here. So now we're gonna and then this one is Paul Ireland. You can reach him at 305-528-6505. And he is at P. Ireland at phyllisbrowning.com. Okay. So you can get him. I don't want to put my face up there with that. That's not where that's supposed to go. There we go. So anybody can reach out to him if you for any of your needs as far as renting a home, buying a home, selling a home, residential area, and business. Did I say that right?
Commercial.
Commercial business. So just get out there if you're trying to get into your own business, your own place of business. He's the one to find you your spot. Um, Paul, you have any finishing words to say?
Um, well, I mean, everyone touched on a lot of key topics. Coach Leah, as far as work-life balance, uh, Franco mentioned the challenges that we face. And just as an anecdotal piece, Lloyd Austin, the first African American Secretary of Defense, when he was a commanding general, he showed up at the airport, and uh, the people that met him thought he was the bag boy, so they gave him the luggage.
Oh,
So, I mean, it goes at all levels, and it's just
mhm,
something um, that we have to overcome and work with. And as Franco said, you learn um, to be flexible, and you learn how to deal with people uh,
mhm.
in a professional way. So last, I wanted to, although we all have military backgrounds, we obviously are not stovepipe to military.
Right.
Our businesses are open, and we provide services to the entire community. So we were highlighted that military piece. However, obviously, our clientele stretches to anyone within the community um, that
Yeah.
wants to work with us. So I just wanted to bring that back around because we did spend a lot of time on our military background. And
Okay.
then lastly, I do have referrals, so it's not I'm not only limited to the San Antonio area.
Okay.
So um, if you're in a different area or you're in this area and you're moving to another area, we have an international referral network as well.
Okay. That's very good to know. Thank you for that. So, with all that being said, Pastor Bright, hi, thank you for joining. I appreciate all of you all for being here. Thank you so much. We will do this again. My co-host is normally my question person, so I like to come on here and I do all my background stuff, and she do a lot of this. But I praise God for each one of you all. I wish your businesses great success. I know that if you're following what God has for you, it will be. And so I just ask God to continue to bless you all. It's nice to see Black people in business because sometimes I grew up in an era where I didn't see that a lot. I remember living out in Washington State, and my daughter said, "You know what? She always used to say she wanted to be a lawyer. She wanted to be a lawyer. And when she was in middle school, like go right in, like she was starting her freshman year of high school, you know how you check in with your kids. You like, hey, what you still want to be that lawyer? She said, "No, mom, I don't know no Black lawyers. Black people can't be lawyers." And I said, "Oh, I need to move." That was like the key right there. Like, gotta go, because it was just I didn't realize that she didn't. They had never had a Black physician, no Black lawyer, nothing that they could look and say, "Well, we can do this too." And then guess where we went? To Columbus, Georgia. And in the Atlanta area, and she got to see it all. So I had to, I wanted her to see a difference. I wanted my kids to see that other people, we too can have businesses. We too can succeed in life. And that pushed me to go ahead and do my degrees and get my degrees out the way and do what I need to do. Because I didn't want my kids to think, oh well, only certain type of people can get these kind of jobs. They can only be this, they can only go so far. No, we can go all the way to the top. President Barack Obama showed us that. So I'm grateful for that. But anyway, y'all take care. God bless you. And thank you so much for joining us tonight. Bye bye.
Thank you for
Bye
having us.
bye. Okay. And y'all got to get off so quick. Oh, he done hurried up and left. I gotta get look, gotta get out of here.
All right.
Thank you.
So you're finished broadcasting now. The